Have you ever jolted awake in the middle of the night, your calf muscle seizing up as if it has a mind of its own? If you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, you might know that intense, sometimes bewildering pain all too well. Leg cramps, particularly in the calf, can strike unexpectedly, leaving you breathless and apprehensive about when the next bout might hit. Over the years, many people accept these cramps as a natural part of aging, something to endure without question. Yet as a physiotherapist who's worked closely with seniors for decades, I've seen firsthand how a simple, often overlooked routine can help ward off these debilitating cramps. That routine? Gentle but consistent calf stretches. This is crucial because, contrary to what many believe, our muscles continue to adapt and respond to movement, even in our 70s, 80s, and 90s. Skipping calf stretches after 70 isn't just a casual oversight. It could be setting you up for intensified leg cramps that undermine your daily comfort and independence. Let me share why this matters so deeply. For many older adults, mobility isn't just about going for brisk walks or jogging around the neighborhood. Mobility is about maintaining the ability to stand up from a chair, climb a few steps at home, or simply enjoy a short stroll in the park with grandchildren. When leg cramps become a frequent problem, they affect confidence as much as physical comfort. You start to question whether you can walk around the grocery store or attend a social function without a sudden spasm. This kind of apprehension can snowball into a more sedentary lifestyle, exactly the opposite of what we need as we age, when muscle strength, circulation, and flexibility become more critical than ever. Addressing leg cramps through preventive calf stretches can set off a positive chain reaction, improve balance, reduce nighttime discomfort, and greater self-assurance in daily activities. In just a few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 5 essential insights that will completely change how you understand and manage leg cramps. We'll begin by challenging some of the most common assumptions, like the idea that leg cramps are an inevitable part of getting older. We'll also explore how small, consistent actions can bring surprisingly large improvements to your overall comfort. Think of this as your roadmap to preserving the freedom to move without fear of painful interruptions. By the end of these 5 key points, you'll be equipped with practical steps that you can start using right away. Steps that can help keep your calf muscles more supple and less prone to those dreaded spasms. My perspective comes from years of observing how simple changes in daily routines can profoundly benefit older adults. While I'm not offering medical advice specific to your condition, that's something only your doctor can provide, I can share experiences and evidence-based strategies that have helped many seniors regain control over their mobility. It's about empowering you with knowledge, highlighting what works for most people, and acknowledging the importance of individual medical guidance. If you've ever felt that persistent, bruising pain in the lower leg that leaves you wincing for days, or decided to forego activities you once loved because you fear another cramp might strike, you're in the right place. By the time we're done, you'll see how stretching your calves, even gently, can be a game changer in preventing and managing these cramps. And the best part? You don't need expensive equipment or a gym membership, just a willingness to try a few movements consistently. Before we dive in, consider the last time you felt that tightness in your calves. What if you had known a simple stretch that might have prevented it? Let's begin our journey there. First, let's clear up a misconception that may be causing more harm than help. Many seniors believe that frequent leg cramps are just a normal part of aging. The story often goes, I'm in my mid-70s, so of course I'll get cramps. Although muscle tightness and occasional cramps can increase as we age, writing them off as inevitable prevents us from seeing how much control we really have. Let's look at Dorothy, who's 77 and lives alone. For years, she endured painful calf cramps nearly every other night. She assumed that was just her fate. But when she started doing 2 short calf stretches daily, one in the morning and one before bed, she noticed that her nighttime cramps became less frequent and less intense within a month. This wasn't magic or luck. It was her body's natural response to being consistently cared for. What most people don't realize is that our muscles, particularly in the calf area, have a tendency to shorten over time when they're not stretched. In older adults, this natural tightness can be amplified by decreased physical activity, certain medications, or underlying health conditions. When a calf muscle is perpetually tight, it's more prone to quick, forceful contractions, cramps, that can strike when you least expect them. So the next time you feel that oncoming twinge, remember it's not simply because I'm getting older. Instead, it's a sign that your muscles are craving regular movement and gentle elongation. The practical takeaway is straightforward. Incorporate a 2-minute calf stretching routine into your day. For example, standing at your kitchen counter, holding on for balance, position one foot behind you, keep your heel down, and gently lean forward to feel a stretch in the calf. Count to 15 or 20, switch legs, and repeat twice on each side. Think of it as a small investment of time with big potential returns. Physically, you'll not only experience fewer cramps, but also better ankle flexibility, helping reduce the risk of stumbles. Emotionally, you'll gain confidence and reclaim the sense that you're more in control of your body than you might have believed. This simple action challenges the myth of "it's just my age" and gives you a proactive step toward comfort. Before we move on, I invite you to pause and consider. How often in the past week have you taken just a minute to stretch your calves? If the answer is never or rarely, you're certainly not alone. Yet this small change might be all it takes to alter the course of your daily wellness. Let's explore the next dimension of calf stretches and leg cramps, the surprising way muscle tension can accumulate and set off those painful spasms. Many seniors assume that if they walk a bit throughout the day or do some gardening, their calf muscles are getting all the stretching they need. The reality is that normal daily movements don't typically stretch the calf muscles fully. When muscles are allowed to remain in a shortened state, like when you're seated in a recliner for hours or standing without fully extending your ankles, they adapt to that shortened length. It's a process known as adaptive shortening, and it can significantly increase the likelihood of intense cramps, especially at night. Take James, 72, who believed his daily stroll to the mailbox was more than enough to keep his calves loose. He'd shuffle around the house, do a bit of tidying, and assumed his legs were fine. But nearly every morning at 5 a.m., he'd be jolted awake by a piercing calf cramp that left him limping well into the afternoon. When he visited my clinic, we discovered that while James was moving around, he wasn't actually stretching his calves. He held his feet in a slightly flexed position most of the day, and his ankles rarely went through a full range of motion. Once we added a focused calf stretch, where he deliberately extended his ankle and engaged the muscle, he noticed a drop in his cramp frequency within 2 weeks. The science behind this is relatively simple. Our muscles respond to the demands placed on them. If we never demand a full, extended range of motion, the muscle fibers tighten to accommodate that limited movement. Then when your leg tries to lengthen suddenly, during something as innocuous as pointing your toes or shifting in bed, a spasm can occur. Imagine a rubber band kept short and tense, then snapped abruptly. That's what happens inside your calf during a cramp. To break this cycle, your strategy should go beyond a basic walk. Incorporate a few dynamic movements that gently extend your calf muscles in a controlled way. One example is a slow heel drop off a step or curb, where you stand on a secure step with both feet, hold the railing, and let one heel gradually sink lower than the step. This elongates the calf under safe conditions. Even 5 to 10 repetitions on each side can make a difference if done consistently. The benefits aren't just physical. Emotionally, going to bed each night without the looming dread of a cramp can be liberating. There's a world of difference between lying down in fear and lying down with confidence. While it might not eliminate every cramp for every person, you could experience fewer incidents in milder episodes, giving you the peace of mind to plan your days and nights without constant worry. Take a moment to think about how you spend your day. Are there extended periods where you're seated in a position that barely moves your ankles? Or do you tend to walk without consciously pushing off your toes? A quick mental inventory can reveal where your calves might be locked in that shortened state. Keep that awareness as we move into our next area, how better circulation, fueled by calf stretches, can bring relief and vitality to aging muscles. Another hidden factor in leg cramps is circulation. Many seniors believe that blood flow issues are something you can't do much about unless you're on medication or wearing compression stockings. While those measures can be important for certain individuals, especially under a doctor's guidance, improved circulation can also come from the simple act of stretching your muscles regularly. Think of your calf muscle as a sort of pump. Each time you flex and extend the muscle through a full range of motion, you help push blood through your lower legs. This increased flow can carry vital nutrients to your muscles and sweep away metabolic waste products more efficiently. Consider Paula, who's 79. She frequently complained of cold feet and sharp calf cramps, especially after sitting through a movie or a long car ride. She assumed it was poor circulation, a permanent condition she had to endure. However, her doctor cleared her of any severe vascular problems, suggesting that some gentle exercise might help. That's when Paula decided to incorporate daily calf stretches and seated ankle rotations. Within a month, she reported fewer cramps and warmer feet. It wasn't that her circulation was fixed overnight, but the repeated motion of stretching and contracting those calf muscles acted like a natural booster for blood flow in her legs. There's evidence backing this up, as numerous physical therapy protocols emphasize range of motion exercises for older adults with circulation challenges. While every individual's health profile differs, the general principle is that movement fosters blood flow, and blood flow helps reduce the conditions that lead to muscle cramping. So how can you make these stretches part of your daily or weekly routine? One simple method is to set a timer or link stretches to something you already do consistently. For example, if you watch the evening news, use one of the commercial breaks for a quick set of seated calf raises. From a seated position, rise onto the balls of your feet, hold for a couple of seconds, then lower. Repeat 10 times. This action gently pumps blood through the calf without requiring you to stand, and it can be a fantastic alternative if balance is a concern. The payoff goes well beyond reducing the frequency of cramps. Better circulation can translate to less swelling in the ankles, warmer extremities, and even a slight uptick in energy levels. Emotionally, there's a comfort in knowing that you're being proactive about your circulation rather than resigned to medications alone. Of course, always follow your doctor's recommendations regarding any vascular issues, but remember that safe, gentle movement is often a complementary strategy that many overlook. If you've ever been told there's little you can do about sluggish circulation, it might be time to question that assumption. Even small motions done frequently can make a meaningful dent in cramp occurrences. Speaking of small motions, let's look at the next essential insight: alternative ways to stretch your calves safely, even if you have mobility concerns or chronic pain. A lot of older adults worry about potential risks in performing stretches. There's a fear of losing balance, slipping, or straining a joint. This concern is completely valid, especially if you have limited mobility or rely on a walker or cane. But here's the good news. Calf stretches can be adapted for almost any level of mobility. If you're unsteady on your feet, you can stretch from a seated position or use a wall and a sturdy chair to support yourself. Meet Harold, 81, who used to be an avid golfer but now struggles with arthritis in his knees. The idea of standing calf stretches made him anxious, worried he might topple over if his knees gave way. So, we tailored a routine specifically for him. Harold sits on a stable chair, extends one leg in front, places a folded towel around the ball of his foot, and gently pulls back to feel a stretch in his calf. He holds it for about 15 seconds, then switches legs. Doing this twice a day, he's found not only relief from cramps, but also a slight improvement in his overall ankle flexibility. What started as a limitation ended up being an opportunity to discover a new way to care for his muscles. The misconception many seniors hold is that if I can't do it the way I did in my younger days, it's not worth doing at all. That's simply not true. Adapting exercises is a cornerstone of physiotherapy. In fact, modifications can often be even more effective because they cater directly to your current abilities, ensuring consistency and preventing injury. Rather than forcing a standing stretch when your balance is compromised, a seated or partially supported version can yield the same muscle benefits without the added risk. Physically, this adaptability ensures you remain consistent, and consistency is key to experiencing real results. Emotionally, finding a safe way to do these stretches can be empowering. You're no longer haunted by the thought that physical activity could lead to a fall or another setback. Instead, you gain a sense of control. I can do this on my own terms. If you're unsure about which modifications suit you best, consult with a qualified fitness professional or a physical therapist for a one-time session. You don't have to sign up for months of therapy to gain a few pointers that could last a lifetime. Even asking a family member or friend to stand by while you try a new stretch can provide a comfort zone until you feel more confident. Now we've explored misconceptions, tension, circulation, and adaptability. Let's move on to a final piece of the puzzle. Building a long-term calf health routine that can help ward off cramps for years to come. By now you've probably noticed a running theme. Consistency matters. Many seniors think a few days of stretching will fix the problem forever, only to be discouraged when cramps return after they stop. The truth is, maintaining calf flexibility and strength is a lifelong journey, just like brushing your teeth or taking your vitamins daily. Instead of treating stretches like a short-term project, imagine them as part of your daily self-care. Let's look at Rosa, who turned 75 last year. After experiencing severe nighttime calf cramps, she decided to do a 14-day challenge of daily calf stretches. Indeed, her cramps subsided. Feeling victorious, she eased off the routine. Within a month, the cramps began creeping back. Disappointed, Rosa realized that while short challenges can spark motivation, they aren't a cure-all. So she built a habit. Every morning while waiting for her coffee to brew, she does a brief set of calf stretches, leaning against her kitchen counter. Then each evening, as she's watching her favorite TV program, she sits and uses a resistance band to stretch her calves. This twice-daily ritual has kept her largely cramp-free. She even finds she sleeps better because she's not worried about being woken up in pain. The main misconception here is believing that one intensive period of stretching can permanently solve leg cramps. Muscles revert to old patterns if not regularly encouraged to stay flexible. Much like any other part of the body, if you don't use it, you lose it. The payoff for keeping a routine, however, is substantial. You're more likely to maintain a healthy gait, reduce fatigue when walking, and even guard against other issues like plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendon pain. To set yourself up for long-term success, pick 1 or 2 specific times in the day when stretching fits naturally. Create triggers in your environment, like a post-it note by the TV remote or near the coffee machine, to remind you. Don't underestimate the power of visual cues in cementing a habit. Additionally, try to celebrate small milestones. Maybe go cramp-free for a week and treat yourself to a new book or a special outing. Yes, it takes conscious effort, but once you see the benefits, it becomes easier to stay motivated. Now that we've covered the why, how, and when of calf stretching, I encourage you to pause and reflect on your next steps. Which simple routine fits your lifestyle best? Do you need chair-based stretches or can you stand by a wall for support? And who can you enlist, spouse, friend, or grandchild, to keep you accountable with a friendly reminder or by joining in? After exploring these 5 core insights, let's step back and consider how they all fit together in preserving your mobility, minimizing leg cramps, and boosting your overall well-being. We've taken a deep dive into the hidden risks of ignoring your calves, the reasons your muscles might be perpetually tense, the power of improved circulation, the adaptability of stretches for all mobility levels, and the importance of forming a sustainable routine. If you embrace these strategies, along with any guidance your doctor provides, you can create a protective shield against the worst of those calf cramps. Imagine the relief of lying in bed without that nagging worry of waking up in agony, or the simple pleasure of going about your day without fear of a cramp striking mid-step. There's a practical urgency here, though it doesn't need to be fear-based. Each day you skip stretching is another day your calf muscles might tighten further. That means another day you might lose a little more mobility or face a higher chance of those intense, sleep-disrupting spasms. Yet by adopting even one new stretch, you can start reversing this trend. Small steps can yield significant improvements, especially when repeated over the long haul. This isn't about a quick fix. It's about a lasting change to guard your independence and comfort. Picture yourself a few months from now, perhaps walking around your home with steadier footing, feeling more confident about stepping off curbs, or simply enjoying an evening of television without the foreboding sense of a looming cramp. These are achievable outcomes. You don't need to become a fitness enthusiast or spend hours each day exercising. A few minutes here and there, done thoughtfully, can make a world of difference. If you feel ready to start, consider these engagement options. If you're someone who likes to ease into change, try a single stretch once a day, perhaps the seated towel stretch before bed. If you're more proactive, set up 2 daily routines, morning and evening, for standing or chair-based calf stretches. Feeling ambitious? Share this routine with a friend or family member. Make it a shared journey, encouraging each other to stay consistent. Some people even jot down a simple checklist, ticking off each stretch session to stay accountable. If you still have questions or concerns about whether these stretches are right for your specific circumstances, reach out to a trusted healthcare professional. That single appointment might give you the confidence and personalized modifications you need. Or, if you're a part of a community group, suggest a short stretching session before meetings or social gatherings. It can be a fun, health-focused way to bond with peers. Ultimately, the control lies in your hands, and, of course, in your calves. You've gained the knowledge. Now it's about taking that first step toward prevention and relief. Remember that you're not defined by leg cramps or limited by the myths of inevitable physical decline. Your body is resilient, and with consistent, mindful stretching, you can give yourself the gift of fewer cramps, better mobility, and a greater sense of well-being in the years ahead. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May your calves be looser, your nights more restful, and your days brighter, all through the power of a little daily care.